I am here doing my very first panel. I want to go to the romantasy panel at 2:30.
There were moments like this morning where we thought we wouldn't be able to pull it off. And the woman standing next to me, Anastasia, has a lot to do with that, for never giving up. And I also want to do a shout out to Carolyn. She's running around here, wasn't even scheduled to be on, and she showed up. So Anastasia and Carolyn, thank you.
We have no chance of understanding, listen, we have no chance of understanding the book of your life if you never pick up the pen. We become side characters in our own stories, episodes dictated and directed by the actions of everyone who thinks they have a leading role in your life. Hardback or paperback, hardcover or paperback, thread or glue, however you are put together, you must define for yourselves which roles, missions, and relationships bind you. As for me, I'm going to start off with these soft writer's hands. As they weather and harden, I will try to hold on to all the people and the precious moments that connect me. I've discovered that it is my job to do the hard work of building bridges, as pretty as I might be. Dream big, act often, start small, and keep evolving. Time flashes, and then you're gone. Don't leave this stage without a song.
Friends, welcome back to James Journal. Today is an exciting day because we are actually at the San Diego Writers Festival. And it is in full swing right now. What's really exciting though is that I am here doing my very first panel with Rachell Abalos and Tracy Badua. So yep, I'm heading over there right now.
It's a pre-speech bagel that's cold and has been sitting in a bag for a while.
It's actually not that cold.
Okay.
It's not that cold today.
Ready? Okay, 20 minutes.
I'm talking about it and I'm a lot less nervous than other events because I won't be alone.
That's true.
I can hide behind Rachel and Tracy.
Okay, so I'd love to know, I'm going to change this question up a little bit from what I sent you guys, but I'd love to know what aspects of your Filipino culture or history did you add into your stories that you kind of are really excited about, or do you like it's like a little a personal Easter egg for yourself?
Just like scanning the crowd to make sure none of my cousins are here. Because I like casually sneak stories about them and tell my mom. Because they asked, they were like, "Was that about me?" I'm like, "No." kind of. Because there's like, little bits and pieces of yourself naturally work their way into the book. But the basis of all of this folklore is literally like stuff my grandmas told me when like they watched me over the summer, because I never did summer camp. It was like Camp Grandma. That was kind of the basis of it. It was just, that is kind of what carried its way into it. So there's little little bits and pieces of that. And one of my favorite things is that, and I know I keep going back to Fridays versus Family First, but I just spoke with the kids about it, so it's front on my mind. But there are, I very purposefully wrote about the World War II Filipino soldiers and that because my dad's dad was a marching bata death march that led me into the story for Friday versus Family First. So bits and pieces of my family history are woven into that, of like me talking with my grandmother, hearing about how she and her family like fled into the mountains as like the Japanese forces approached, wove that into the story. Learning about how my aunt, and when she was older, like when she was home, when my grandfather and so like the other soldiers, like they came out for the march, things, little details about that I managed to weave into the story, and it would just made it all the more meaningful to have it in the book.
For me, what is in the heart and soul of growing up Filipino-American is family. And for me, I grew up, a lot of Filipinos grew up with huge families, and I myself lived in a multi-generational household and got to live with my grandparents my whole life, which is such a great place. And they had quite a few kids, so I actually have like 26 first cousins, and most of them grew up here in Southern California, so I ended up really close to the majority of them and look at most of them as close as my siblings. So we had a lot of adventures together growing up, and that's something that I would love to put in all of my stories. Like they're like kind of in between friends and siblings, and they're much closer.
So I'm really happy that I got to write in a province part of the Philippines, which isn't really often being written because most of the stories there are from the city, like Manila, which is a completely different setting. And I got to put in I know my family, my dad's side, my cousins here, they have their pet carabao. So their pet pig, they're in the stories, and the mango trees that are in the province, and I got to have that into the story. And also living in multi-generational family, the grandma lives with them too, and just a little small details that they got to include.
So I would love to know, how have you seen Filipino-American representation in children's literature change in these years?
I feel like just from what I've seen and experienced, that it seems like we have such a huge, and for a while we've had such a huge voice in picture books. And I think that's so cool, but I feel like in the past, I love seeing like the beautiful illustrations and seeing our culture like represented with these beautiful illustrations and picture books. That's like cool. But I think in recent years, I feel like we've been branching out into the older kids in YA and in business. But so that's really exciting, and just hitting up other genres too. Like I'm again biased, I love fantasy so much, but I have seen us rising up in the fantasy genres as well, and it's so cool. I know that Monica is working on something as well. That genre is a file. The best ones too, right? Yeah. So I'm excited to see like where we could go from here and seeing more fantasy stories.
I'm like super grateful for Tracy, and also I don't know if you guys. I think the latest book award winner is Erin and Chad Kelly. Once I stop my kids reading books that I didn't even recommend them, that makes me super happy. Randy Ribeye is doing it big for Filipino representation. I mean, he's big to the point that he has IP, where he's New York Best Time Seller with the Avatar book that he can draw. And again, that in itself is so good to have, because that means, oh, you know what, that the latest winner and a big New York Times bestseller is Filipino. Maybe we'll give yours a chance. And there are lots of great writers out there who are finally getting their stories out. Big ones like Michelle Sterling has a bunch of Filipino books.
I really think that's it. It's the fact that maybe 10 years ago, we maybe wouldn't have had a panel. But now the fact that we literally could keep naming names of other people that were like, oh, you know, that other picture book writer. Oh, somebody else that writes YA, somebody else that writes middle grade. Oh, that other person that writes adult fantasy. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And like, just from a very like a personal perspective, like I have a first grader and she has no idea that Filipino stories are a new, like Filipino-American stories are a new thing. No idea. She's just like, oh, we've got books. I'm like, you've got books? You don't understand. She's like, oh, we've got these like books and it's like these kids look like me. I wish I had a copy of Freddie, but it's little Filipino-American boy, little Filipino-American girl. She thinks it's her and her cousin. Aww. And I was like, but that boy's cursed, so that's not good. But like little things like that, and she grew up in a world, has no idea that it's uncommon for little brown Asian kids to be on the cover.
And that's great. We want this to be commonplace.
Right. For them to like not even think anything of it. So any other questions?
Yeah. Did you ever write stories, characters that were white to kind of conform, and then were like, no, I'm going in, I'm dialing in, I'm speaking to my authentic self and have that?
Yeah, sure. Not white specifically, but just not having a race at all. They're just like a blob, you know, just like a person with brown hair and brown eyes, but no, like, not stating that they were Filipino, right? Because I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier about not feeling like I was allowed to represent my culture. So I think I just couldn't exactly get there for a while. But eventually when I got a lot of the courage from used to here and other Filipino writers going, I can do this. And then I went, tried all the way and write my culture and make my characters roll.
I was doing a school visit and I was going to show the kids like the stories that I used to write as a kid where I like would take a picture of paper and staple it together. And I found one of my old ones and I like scanned it and showed it to them. And it was like a cat, you know, like I drew my stuffed animals. But she was like, she had a blonde ponytail for some reason. And I showed it to the kids and it was cute. And I had this moment of like, why is this cat blonde? I was like, what a weird choice by my like 8-year-old self. Like, this might be something I need to go to therapy for. Moving on.
It was a cat, she didn't have to have a ponytail at all.
That's really interesting. She didn't need a ponytail. She was also exercising for some reason. I was like, you guys, there's like a lot here. I don't know.
Well, as you guys know, I don't like, my competition is animals, and I don't want to write animal stories, but then I am trying to work on it, so like, that's all you guys want is animal stories. Fine, let me put it up. But then as I'm writing this character, and I'm like, okay, my character is an elephant, then it starts to talk in Tagalog, and talk into, you know, and have Filipino experience. So I'm like, wait, it's still Filipino. It's okay. So no, I don't. I just can't authentically write other than what my experience is.
Do you know the creepy little monkeys that we have in the Philippines with the giant eyes for the tiny little head? Yeah, she's totally right too.
Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me because the music over there is kind of loud. But anyway, the panel went great. It was so fun. We only got to like half the questions that the moderator, Monica, actually came up with, which is apparently a really good sign. That means that the panel went really well. We just like, you know, had great conversation and we didn't want to stop to ask the next question. So it It went really well. I was nervous and a little bit shaky, but I think I did okay overall. And so now I'm just kind of wandering around. The panel was at 11, and then we had the signing for about another hour, and I got to talk to Tracy and Rachel and just hang out and talk about how it went. Let's talk about writing. It was so fun. So right now I'm just wandering around the booths finally. I'm going to look at merch and look at books. And then I want to go to the Romantasy panel at 2:30. So that's on the agenda now. But overall, I'm having a great day. This festival is so cool. Great turnout too. The room where our panel was like a classroom here, and it was almost pretty much full. So call that a success. But anyway, I'm gonna go wander around and then go to the panel.
Soulmates, like fated soulmates. And it's not that I object to the concept, it's that the world building that underlies it never makes sense to me. Or very, like, I've so rarely seen it done in a way that doesn't, like, irritate me on a molecular level. But I'm just like, okay, no, how is this working? Like, are you just the same person life to life? Is there no nature versus nurture debate going on in this universe? Like, what part of you, what essence is being carried over? Does this mean that you can only ever love one person? What does this say about
I had to get a couple books. After the Romantasy panel, it was so good, so I got this book. It's like Beauty and the Beast, but with a snake, apparently, which I love Beauty and the Beast anyway, so I'm gonna get that. And also from the woman who did the, author who did the querying panel, I got them both signed, obviously. They were both super nice. And then Jeff got a cookie. A strawberry cookie from Kate. Are you having fun?
Yeah. I got buns and cake. Cool cookie.
Yeah. But he tried to give them away to like Tracy and Rachel, but they didn't want them.
Instead, I just ate them.
So now we just
I just
I
ate
ate
a
like
lot of
3
them.
of them. So but this has been really fun. I can't believe the turnout and everything, and everyone's just been super, super nice. I got to talk to Anastasia, who's the one who, I don't know if she started it, but she's at least like leading it. But anyway, she was super sweet. So all around, just a fun event. I'm definitely gonna come back. Anyway, we're gonna eat this cookie and then get dinner somewhere.